The Deja Vu Department.
He's big. He's bad. His team is mostly sad. Andy Raymond. Andy Raymond.
Joins us every Wednesday, Andy Raymond Unfiltered. I've got to say, though, with 3 wins out of 7, oh, by God, it's time to celebrate for Parramatta. You're not even in the 8, mate. I can't even see you down there, mate. Welcome to the show.
We're still at the bottom. I've come down to Mum's this week, and Mum still lives in the Parramatta catchment area, and we've got flags out, and there's cars tooting horns. We've won 3 games, and we're absolutely bloody delighted at the moment. Looking up, and our necks are getting sore, seeing your mob in 3rd place.
There's your intro, pal. Eat it.
It was better than I thought what was coming. I predicted maybe the West Indies national anthem or some type of cricket back and forth, but I'll cop that. I'm big and ugly enough to look after myself.
All right, well, I mean, this is the guy that we are interviewing in about 40 minutes.
A real dream come true for Joseph the Deliverer for the West Indies. There'll be felicitations from Kingston to Georgetown, Guyana.
Ian Bishop, who was there in 97 as part of the last Windies team that beat you on home soil. Andy, look, as much as we love to give it back and forth, when Australia, your test team, loses, the whole cricket world celebrates. But park that for 1 second. What a brilliant day's sport. 2 cricket tests, one at your place, one in India, and then the Australian Open men's final. Tell me it gets better than that, because it doesn't, mate.
It doesn't get any better, Marty, and us old blokes, we harp on about the importance of test cricket. Well, that last 2 hours, that last day, that was better than any T20 or 50-over game I've ever seen. True story, Marty. We were coming back from a week out bush, and we were listening to the cricket on the radio.
I love that. Love that.
There's the bride and I and the 2 dogs in the back, and it got to about, 45 minutes before the game finished. And I said, we've got to stop in at the next pub and watch this. And she, absolutely. So we walked into a pub out at Toogoolawah, which is about 2 hours west of Brisbane. We took the 2 dogs in, and the cricket is there, the test cricket is there, and every set of eyes in the pub around lunchtime or early afternoon was fixed on the cricket. And, mate, without being, no one was booing the Aussies, but I tell you what, there was a little bit in all of us that were cheering on the West Indies, because it's just such a terrific story. In sport, we'd love to dream, and there is no better dream, there's no better story than the underdog, and the biggest underdog in world cricket has beaten the monster. And look, the pub was cheering, and again, not being disrespectful to our cricket team, who we absolutely love, but it was terrific. It was theatre. It was everything you want in sport wrapped up into one, mate.
Couldn't have said it better. And look, we've been basking in it for 2 or 3 days. It is life, isn't it? It's everything about life. That's what it is. It's the emotions and the ups and downs, the second chance syndrome that, hopefully you get given. And then the story about the young man whose toe was busted by Mitchell Starc. Oh. And he comes to the ground, doesn't even think he's played, doesn't even have his gear, and then he goes out there, gets a 7 for, and he takes off like he scored the winning goal in a World Cup football final afterwards. It's just... Look, and so, you and me are old enough to remember back to 97 and that test, and also to the glory days of the West Indies, who brought a swagger and a dude and a coolness to that sport that no one else could.
You're absolutely right, and we had a bit of fun in the car on the way home, and I was able to recite the mid-80s West Indian cricket side in batting order from 1 to 11. The missus turned to me and she said, but you can't remember to put the dirty clothes in the washing basket or put the toilet seat down.
No,
but you can remember the West Indies.
Because it sticks with you.
Terrific.
It does. That's the importance of it, isn't it? We will be talking about this for such a long time. Like we were talking about that Basin Reserve test last year. But we've just had a 5-match T20 series against Pakistan. And I asked Lachlan yesterday, it only finished 9 days ago. I said, apart from the day that Finn Allen got 138, name me 3 other things that happened. And the only thing he could actually remember was the Pakistani wicketkeeper's a big fat bloke, and we love the big fat bloke playing cricket. And I say that with love and respect, of course. But we can't remember, mate, because it's not important, mate.
No, you're exactly right. It's not important because there's another T20 tomorrow, then there's another one
the next
Monday.
day. That's it, mate.
Yeah. I tell you what I don't like, and I think it's becoming a problem in world cricket, the abbreviated test series. And we've got another one coming up, Australia versus New Zealand. But a 2-test series, that stinks. It really does. Worst case scenario, 3 tests.
Yeah.
I would love to see it go back to a 5-test series where major cities across a country, and it doesn't matter what country it is, but every major city gets to see and gets to witness test cricket, because you never know where this next story is coming from.
Yeah. Let's talk tennis then. And Yanik Sinner, again, just superb sport on Sunday. And if you managed to watch, look, I fell asleep during that because of the time zones and things, but I watched every ball of his semi-final victory against Novak, and I was stunned with this young man that he had the courage to keep playing that kind of tennis. It's too easy to go into this shell. You know, if you're hitting whipping bombs like that, and then all of a sudden you get a chance to go, I've got to be a bit conservative here, but he didn't. And poor old Medvedev in the end ran out of legs.
Yeah. Mate, what about these two stories in the 1 week? Young Yanik Sinner, just epic. I mean, there's no other way to describe it. He's arrived. He was the story in Melbourne for the last couple of days. And again, we go back to sport stirring emotions, and sport, there's a little bit of dreamer in all of us, and you dare to dream. And that's what this kid did. And the way he did it, wow, coming from 2 sets down to beat a guy who is, he is red hot. He really is, Daniil Medvedev. But tell you what, I don't mind him losing. I can't say I'm a huge fan. There's something about him, Marty, that just rubs me a little bit the wrong way. I don't know what it is. And he's probably a terrific fella. But mate, I was riding it with young Yanik the whole way through, and the fact that he dropped the first 2 sets was 3-6, 3-6 from memory. He dropped the first 2 sets pretty comfortably, but then completely turned it round or switched on when it mattered and went on a demolition mission. It was terrific.
Andy Raymond Unfiltered is with us. Let's go to the egg ball then. Rival codes, first Rugby, and 3 super franchises in trouble in Australia. The Melbourne Rebels in receivership or administration or whatever.
Yep.
We were talking about this yesterday. Look, anyone who calls for this franchise to be saved is an absolute idiot. Look, they have tried for years to establish a sport in a city that doesn't want it and isn't interested in it. They had a chance to put that franchise somewhere else, but of course, the greedy dickheads who run rugby in Australia, we're gonna be a force. Look, if rugby league struggles in Melbourne, you're not going to get rugby over the line in Melbourne. It is a joke every year, the Magic Round or whatever it is that they put there. Give it up. I mean, I'm sorry. I mean, what is the definition of insanity? Doing the same thing again? Ploughing more money into something that isn't working, that nobody wants, that nobody's looking at, nobody's watching. What is the point of it?
Mate, the positions had been flipped in 2017. The Force were culled from Super Rugby. The Rebels, well, let's say they dodged a bullet. How the time has changed. That mining billionaire Andrew Twiggy Forrest, he helps the Force return in 2020. Now it's the Rebels. I don't think we can sustain 5.
No, you can't. You can't.
I don't think rugby is riding a wave of popularity or general interest that there is room for 5 teams. It used to work in the early days when it went back to Super 8 rugby, and there was 5 or 6 South African provinces, and they were eventually culled. And South Africa's rugby mad. You guys are rugby mad, so you can maintain, firstly, the business aspect of a club, and then that's making money, but also you've got the players to be able to push across a number of franchises and field competitive outfits. Mm-hmm.
Totally.
We have neither.
No.
We have.
Well, here's an
neither.
idea. Here's an idea that, if again, the morons that run this sport want to resurrect this competition, what you do is we've got the player base in New Zealand. So you say all the New Zealand franchise sides, you can select 20 players. That's all you get. The rest go into a pool and everyone else gets a go at them. And actually start putting as many New Zealand players, because it's the same competition. The All Black coach can look at them, how they're playing, and let them go across all the franchises. And then from that, you can build competitive sides. And when you've got competitive sides, then young kids might want to actually start playing it. But who wants to play for a team that gets dicked every week, every year?
You're exactly right, mate. There's nothing worse than uncompetitive sport. It's boring. It doesn't matter what sport it is, but 40-0 is a terrible game.
And or losing 75-35 like they do. Okay, Wayne Bennett, he's put his hand up to be the Kiwi coach. That has been confirmed by New Zealand Rugby League. No other word about it. Yeah, what do you know? Is it a possibility?
Mate, more than a strong possibility. And if he is genuine about this, he gets the job. That's my mail. If it's genuine, he gets the job. What it could also be, Wayne is up for contract at the end of the year. Wayne being Wayne, he wants to keep coaching. He loves his footy, he loves his coaching, but he also loves to be in control. And this could very well be the first indication that he wants to keep going in his coaching career, putting his hand up, getting his name out in the headlines, and, taking over what Michael Maguire did. I've got to say, Wayne's timing has always been Wayne's biggest asset. Going to a club or going to a country or going into a position where he knows he can improve them. I find it really difficult to see how you can improve on 30-0, because that was the score in the Kiwis' last game of international footy, a 30-0 win over the Aussies. So it's going to be interesting. It's going to be really interesting, A, to see if Wayne's legitimate, and B, to see the ripple effect this may have, because with every decision and with every appointment of a coach, there is a rippling effect through the coaching structures of different sides, and never more evident and never more severe that ripple than when Wayne Bennett does something.
Andy Raymond Unfiltered with us. We've got about 32 days until the NRL kicks off in Vegas. It's like waiting for Santa, isn't it? Let us end on the video that you put up on your Twitter page where you are redecorating your office, and your beautiful wife decided that she was going to help redecorate your office. And for anyone who hasn't seen this video, you then pan around with the camera, and her decision was to put what on the wall?
A wedding picture to motivate me. What, motivate me to run out of the house? Look, she's a lovely girl.
She's listening to the program, mate.
She's away working. She's a lovely girl, Marty. She really is. But she looks like Wade Egan, and she's got a body like Adam Fanua Blake.
Oh, for God's sake, mate. Marry the... Oh, you did. That's right. You did marry the girl. What's on the podcast this week?
Mate, terrific one on the podcast this week. Tomorrow,
she looks like Wade Egan. She's got a body like Adam Fanua.
Tomorrow, we've got the best of Graham the Wombat Edie, a wonderful reflection of an interview I did a while back. We've got young Kiwi Matt Timoko talking about his debut game. And this weekend in our Dream Team podcast, we got Andrew McCulloch, but he hasn't given us a Dream Team. It's just a sledge-a-thon, and I love it. He's given us the worst 13 bodies he's seen in rugby league.
Fantastic.
The sloppy rigs 13. Oh, it's brilliant. It's just a sledge-a-thon, and some of his great mates receive it big time.
Thank you so much. And it's like a good mate of mine, Shunter, who every year posts the Fat Guys 11, the fattest 11 cricket players on the planet. The Pie Eaters 11. It's just glorious, isn't it? We celebrate this is what we do, people. ARU, that is Andy Raymond Unfiltered.